Hello and welcome to Star Citizen. My name is Even Lease, and today on 10 Minutes More or Less Ship Review, right behind me I have the ANVIL CARRAK, and I promise you right now, it's going to be definitely more than 10 minutes. Let's go ahead and get into it. Alright, welcome back to another review. Today, the ANVIL CARRAK and Expedition Exploration variant ship here. Now, this thing is huge, and at certain angles, it doesn't look like it, but it is. It really is just such a fantastic and massive ship. So, before we get into that, I just want to say that you all are really awesome. All the giveaways that I've done and all the fun questions and, you guys just sticking around, enjoying the content. And anytime I run into you in game, you guys are always really nice. Today I ran into Sad Panda, and he said that he or she said that they really enjoyed the content, and thank you. You guys are truly the best. So getting into it here, this ship, the ANVIL CARRAK, it is $600 if you were to buy it on the pledge store with real money, or if you buy it in game, it is $34,398,000 AUEC. Now, that in-game price is honestly pretty fantastic for what it can do, so let's go ahead and get into that. This ship has no pilot DPS, no pilot missiles. So if you are flying this ship solo, do expect the fact that you will not be able to put out any damage by yourself unless you hop onto one of the 4 turrets that it does have. You have 3 man turrets and 1 remote turret on this ship. Now, they all come with CF447 Rhinos, so overall, you do have 8 guns on this ship. It's just nothing you can control unless you were to hop into a turret or have, a buddy or an org mate jump in there and man the guns for you. Now, someday we'll get NPC crews or, blades, something like that will allow us to have some of these guns operational without other, human occupants. But that's probably a very long way out, honestly. So it'll be great when it is here. Now, going past the weapons aspect of this ship, which is kind of too bad that there's no missiles or, pilot-controlled weapons, but this ship isn't meant to go out there and, look for combat. This is an exploration style ship that honestly just has enough defensive capability to take care of itself in the long distances that it's supposed to go. This ship does have 200,000 shield strength, and that is a quadrant shield, which is pretty awesome. It's 2 shield generators and outputs 200,000. It's a lot of shield strength, so it can definitely take a beating before it needs to, find a way out of a situation. But once you, lose a shield face, you also have to be kind of careful because it only has 103,000 health points. So that's kind of a miss, honestly. I'm surprised by that. This is such a massive ship. 103,000 health points just does not seem like that much. But you have to come to the conclusion that this is not a finished product either. So there's a very big chance that these numbers are going to change, and probably dramatically over the next few years. So, don't take it by heart that it's 103,000 right now. But for the game version that we are playing, that's what it is. Past that, you can carry 456 SCU of cargo on the cargo grids on the interior of the ship. Now, those are held in these 3 massive modular crates here at the bottom, but they cannot be opened from the outside or the inside at all yet. That's why manual loading is currently impossible. What's supposed to happen is these are supposed to drop down and open up, and they just can't do that at this point. Now, I did say they are modular, so what that means is you can actually, not yet, but in a future game version, hopefully they don't scrap that with this ship, drop these things on the ground and swap them out for something else, so instead of carrying cargo, you can maybe have a more expanded living area, or maybe prisoner cells, or, a multitude of different things for the ship, which will be really interesting. I cannot wait to see how that goes. Now, past that, this ship has massive engines on the rear that remind me of a Star Destroyer from Star Wars, but it's pretty frickin' slow. Moving at a top speed of 140 SCM, with a forward boost of 315 and a backwards boost of 160. Or a nav speed of 1050. So it's not a fast ship at all. It's actually one of the slowest ships in the game. And you got to imagine, the bigger the ship, the slower it moves, right? But you then also got to look at these engines and go, wow, how does this thing move so slow? But it's still a pretty massive ship. Its maneuverability is dog crap. You know, it's just terrible because it's huge, right? And that's to be expected. Honestly, these engines, I wish they'd get rid of the circles and just make the whole, like, engine cowl around them. The engines, that would look so cool. But again, you know, they changed a lot of this ship from the original concept. It's much bigger, much fatter, and a lot of people were very upset about that. I honestly wish we could have both variants, like this bigger one, and then maybe the smaller one could be like the Mark 1. This is the Mark 2 or something like that. And I know everybody's like, oh, God, please, no more Mark anythings. Let's stop, you know, releasing duplicate ships when it changes not so much. But if you were to release a Mark 1 of this ship with the original concept, that would be pretty cool. Now, talking about traveling with this ship, you can go quite the distance without having to refuel because you carry 44,000 quantum fuel, and among that, you have a ton of regular fuel, too, for atmospheric flight or just regular propulsion. So that is fantastic. 44,000 quantum fuel. You will be exploring all sorts of unknown star systems and not having to worry about a single thing. You know, any sort of fuel problems. You just pick a really good quantum drive and you'll be out there for as long as you want, which is fantastic. Now, this ship is built for extreme conditions. That's why it's just so rugged and, you know, thick and looks fantastic. The canopy here is actually supposed to have a retractable style kind of shielding that goes around it, but it's just not there yet. I think they said they have the functionality in, but I just don't know why they don't release that. It's missing a lot of its fun antennas, too, from the original concept. There's a lot of things they could just add, you know, minor things that could really bring the life of this ship on the exterior, but it's still not a bad-looking ship. I think it's honestly one of the best-looking ships in the game, so love it. I can't wait to see more big ships enter Star Citizen. Now, this ship does only have one entrance at the time if you were to talk about, you know, how you enter from the ground. Otherwise, it does have a docking port on the side, which I'll show you here in just a second. But this entrance is this massive ramp right here, which you can bring a plethora of ground vehicles into and go ahead and park them right here. Now, that's pretty fun. I always liked carrying around a rock. You know, you're like, oh my God, you're rock mining in a Carrack? Yeah, of course. It's huge. It's fantastic. And it has a med bed. So before we get to that, to the left here, this door takes you to a kind of like a, you know, service ladder, as they call it. And that allows you to go up if you're having an issue with like doors or an elevator problem. That can definitely help you. This little button here raises this little ramp, you know, prevents vehicles to, you know, hitting your door or blocking your door at all, and can also be used as kind of like an FPS. I don't know why I laid down, but like an FPS ramp as well. So if you're, you know, behind cover and you need to go ahead and engage people that are trying to board your ship, this is a fantastic little block for that. So love that. Now, moving past this and where you kind of bring your vehicles. Now, this ship does come standard with an Ursa rover and also the C8 Pisces. Which is really awesome because you can fit both in this ship. Right here is where you'd carry the rover, and then I'll show you where you'll fit the Pisces later, but that's really cool. So spending $600 or the, well, not the 34 mil, that's just buying it in-game. You only get the ship. But spending the $600 in the pledge store does account for the fact that you do get the C8 Pisces as well as the Ursa rover. So pretty awesome. I think that is not a bad combo at all. Now, moving into the interior here, you do have the docking collar right to the right here. So you have a bunch of suit lockers. You got your nice docking collar here with a double airlock door, which is good. Always nice to have that. So you can go ahead and dock to stations or other vessels. Now, if you were to move across, this is the elevator to take you to the other floors of the ship. But first, we'll check out the cargo rooms. Now, remember, I want to try to not miss a single thing for this ship. It is huge. But this is where all that... 456 SCU of cargo sits in these big box rooms here, and you're kind of standing on this gantry, like, overlooking area, which also has an independent elevator for each one of them, so you can kind of go down there. Again, there's no way to open these up or drop them down, nothing like that at this current time. So in 3.24, manual loading just won't exist. but you can definitely auto-load it if you decide to just stay away from the contracted missions until they allowed the function for auto-loading on those. But, you know, at least you can still use the ship. Not 100% to what it could be before, but at least you still can. Now, once you pass all those cargo modules, you're going to get to the back of the ship here, and this is another elevator here that takes you throughout the floors, and this one actually goes one step higher than the frontal elevator. But also, this elevator, I feel like, was intended to go down, too, because of the fact that right here you have suit lockers, 3 of them on each side, as well as a massive amount of weapons that you can go ahead and pick up and, you know, go to war. You can carry up to 8 rifles right here and a ton of handguns, ammo, all that kind of stuff. And then there's another one right here. So the big question is, why doesn't this elevator go to the ground? Because when you land, you could just get equipped and go down, and there you go. That would be a second entry. Hopefully, they'll update that in the future. I know that's been kind of a request, is to make this elevator not only go up, but to go down and make that another access point, which would be really cool. So hopefully they do that. But, you know, you got a ton of weapon storage and suit lockers here. I can't wait to see the suit lockers actually work. That is going to be awesome. Now, if you continue to move back, this here is just your aft turret. So this one goes, you get in, you go down, and that is a man turret right there. It's a lot of space for just a turret. This room, I think, could have been done a little bit better, but I mean, honestly, what can you do? I guess if you were to make this a remote turret, that could definitely help, and then you could put something else back here. Now, moving back into this area, let's go ahead and go right to the front of the ship, and I will show you from that elevator. And let's go ahead and call this, open the door. We'll move to the next deck, which is the habitation deck. This is where all your crew is going to live, as well as your medical room. So going to deck 2, we will go to the front first. So straight to the front, you're going to see a ton of different doors, but we'll kind of go one at a time with those. First, you have your cockpit. Now, this cockpit has 3 hanging chairs here with your main pilot seat and your co-pilot seats left and right, as well as like a little access point for what I think is just another module, like, you know, maybe a radar tech or something. Who can say, right? I don't think it's really even labeled. And then you also have like little doors here for the future of engineering, access points for maybe, you know, batteries or something like that. And that's on both sides, as well as a ton of servers here, which is really cool. Whenever these become useful or have any sort of use to them, this is right where they're at, right behind the pilot. Now, this has a fantastic view. It's got a little bit of blockage like an RSI ship, but it's not terrible. It could definitely be worse, so hopefully that'll never happen, and it just stays nice and open like this, which you can walk on it too. So always like that. I'm always a sucker for windows on any ship, so you can kind of look around and see what's going on. And there's another floor up there with a command station, which I'll show you in a little bit, but you can also control the ship from that right there. So pretty cool, pretty cool. I'll show you that deck here in just a second. Let's make our way through the back here and check out the rest of this. Now, right to your right here, you got the captain's dorm, as they call it on that label. This is where the captain resides. So you have a nice little office area here, and you take care of business. You sit down with a nice chair, a ton of books, you know, monitors on each side, a little window for some spacescaping, right? And then you have nice little bookshelves over here, you know, a beer, you know, got a little thirsty, what can I say? Fire extinguisher, always good to have one of those, and some nice drawers, a chessboard, and then you move in here, and you have a nice bunk area with a pretty decent looking bed, and, you know, just storage all around. You got storage here, you got more over here, a nice suit locker, nothing you can really use yet. And then if you move into here, you got a very awesome looking bathroom with, of course, I'm a vampire. Can't see myself, but that's all right. We'll get there someday. You got all your supplies here for taking care of yourself on the long journeys that you're going to be taking with this ship, as well as a first aid kit. And right behind you, you have one of the best bathrooms, in my opinion, because they're separated. You have a nice toilet here. I don't know if I want to call it nice or mean or whatever. And then you have a shower here that is separate from your bathroom, so you're not, you know, doing business where you're cleaning yourself. That's fantastic. I love that. No risk of immediate death. No risk of immediate death having to shower with your toilet. Now, moving out of the captain's quarter here in just a second, we're going to go check out where the crew sits next. Let's go to the left side here. Let's go ahead and go through to the crew quarters. Of course, here is your toilet, as it's so kindly marked. So you go in here, you have some storage. Right behind each one of these doors is the nice little toilet, and yeah. Gotta love that. And then a nice mirror that doesn't reflect as well. So it's a really nice bathroom, honestly, especially for a crew situation. I love that. Anything for the crew to help them, relax and stuff. You have some, screens that don't really do much yet and some areas that you might be able to access in the future. Now, this is like a nice little area to just kind of chill and play pool with your all chrome balls. Stainless steel balls. Sure. It's going to be one heck of a game that you're playing on this pool table. Very interesting design. But, you don't have any pool cues or anything, so I don't know how we play, but we'll get there. I'd love that if we're going on long-distance travels, like if it takes a while between systems or something, to be able to actually play that. That would be really cool. And then through this door, you do have all your beds, they're bunk bed styles. This is just really cool looking. I love this. When you do have a crew in here, it's going to be very lively and very fun with a ton of storage on each one of them. So nice to have that. A little bench here. So if you want to relax and not in your bed and kind of just chill right here, you could. I'm going to have my crew mount a nice big flat screen right here that can kind of drop down when you're sitting here. That'd be kind of cool. Moving on, you have another bed here. I don't know who the lucky guy is that gets their own little bed without it being a bunk. Just watch your head, right? No touch. Don't touch. And then going through here is the shower. So it is separated. You don't want to make that mistake going into this bathroom when you are in the urgency of having to drop a number 2, because you ain't going to be dropping it in here. This is for cleaning only. So another mirror, nice little area to wash your hands and take care of yourself. So gotta love that. These bathrooms are fantastic in this ship. Honestly, the Carrack is probably one of my favorite ships in the game right now, and I can't wait to see what the future of these big ships. And yeah, let's go across the hall. This is the kitchen for the crew, including the captain, of course. You have a total of 6 seats, which is nice. Big table, nice lighting, and then you have nice area for all your snacks and food and drinks. None of it is accessible yet, but sooner or later that'd be cool. This looks great. Again, looks fantastic. I can't wait to see a lot of this come into operation and put a lot of this to use. So that'll be really cool. It's a nice little eating area, and it has a nice window too. I love this. They need to add this to more ships. They really, really do. More windows would just be fantastic. So please add these to as many ships as you can, because that would just be great. Not every ship has to be ultra combat oriented and without windows. So if you continue down the hallway here, this right here is where you're going to split into 3 directions. If you go straight ahead of you, you got the medical room. So you go through here. This is like a little decontamination area. You go through another door, and you have 2 med beds here. These are more for just relaxing. These aren't like actual medical beds. These are just beds per se. Some storage there, some storage there. Now through this door is where the actual medical bed is, where it takes care of you and does all the healing and everything, as well as a operating respawn point. So this is a tier 2 med bed, so it should take care of a good amount of stuff that's happening out in the world if you get injured while exploring. It's not a tier 1, but it is tier 2, and it does look fantastic. And right over here to the right, you have a doctor's office with plenty of area for supply, server access, storing all your patient information, as well as all your medical needs here. Pretty nice. Always love that. Right across from this room is like your pharmacy or storage area where you're going to have the majority of your medications being held, to take care of crew and oxygen, all that kind of stuff. So pretty cool. I love that. This is just a great design. Honestly, I can't wait to see this all operational someday. And, that's probably a ways out, but I really like it. It looks fantastic. And I think they did a great job with that room. They really did. Now, if you go ahead and go through one of these doors on each side, they're pretty much mirrored. They're just hallways, with the fogged glass, so you can't be, sneaking a look in at what's going on in there, which is always good, patient privacy, right? And then this is the elevator at the back of the room here. Now, we'll go ahead and just hop in the elevator here just so we can go to the next floor. This is pretty cool. I like this. See, again, this elevator is nice. I just wish it would go down another level. So let's go to the technical deck. And this deck here is where you're going to have all things technical. So let's go ahead and take a look at that, what that means. Once you get off that elevator, this right here is your hangar. So where you can land that Pisces and some other small craft right through this big door right here, which I will open up here in a moment. Now, before I do, let's go ahead and check out the back of the ship here. Going through this door, and right here you have the starboard turret, which is just one of the wing turrets that I showed you outside of the ship prior. And this is where you would have access to it. Now, this is mirrored on each side. So on the other side, you do have the other turret, the aft turret over there. So always good to have those guns running if you need them. If you were to continue on here, let's go ahead and go into this room. This is like an engineer station, which one day will be operational, when engineering comes into play. And that'll be kind of interesting. It's kind of a small window to see what's going on, but, it works. It works. Moving on into that engineering area, this is where the heart of the ship is. So this is where everything's going to be happening. If, an engine breaks down or something, this is where you're going to be taking care of it. You got a nice little elevator right there that takes you down to another level of that engineering area here, or a ladder right here. So a lot of little monitors and areas for components, and quite a few of the components are accessible if you were to go down this elevator right here or take that ladder back behind me. But we'll go ahead and head down really quick and take a look at all these doors, which they don't really have like operational buttons per se yet. It's kind of operational, but it's kind of hit and miss. It just needs more or less like a gold standard where these buttons are a little bit better looking, but you can access a lot of the components. I don't know why I didn't think that this area was not accessible, but man, it's been a while since I've been down here. You don't really have a reason to go down here, honestly, as you do everything through the vehicle management system as well as no engineering yet. But it is nice to see a lot of the components accessible, but someday we'll have everything accessible with real buttons to press, which will be nice. But it is cool that you do have a lot of these components here, and it's a really cool looking room. I love that. Very atmospheric, very scary, honestly, if stuff starts hitting the fan. Going in here, you got another component. Obviously, these components are never going to leave this ship. You're going to be repairing them here. If you do need to change them out, that's probably going to be a much bigger operation where you got to crack open the hole or something to actually get them out. Now, moving back up to the upper floor here, we're going to go ahead and go down the middle of the ship and kind of take a look at other areas. Again, that was your wing turret over there. Now, this is the access point for the hangar bay. So a door on each side right here, just this side. That's how you get into the Pisces and whatnot. Now, to open that door up, you just got to keep on going down this hallway. And right here is a nice little computer screen. And you just go ahead and go up and press that button. At this point in time, this door at the top will open. And it looks pretty cool. I love that. I love how the light comes in and it just looks really awesome. Seeing that upper turret there, just fantastic. I love a good view. Sometimes it's nice just to fly with the door open and come back here and take a look at the stars. Let's go ahead and close that door up, though, and continue down. This is that frontal elevator. It does come up to here, as well as the side elevator that ladder that I showed you when we first entered the ship. Now, going here, we're going to go ahead and access another room. This room here is the drone room. So, drones are not currently in the game. They used to be in some form, but then they were removed pretty quickly. But they were never accessible for this ship. Now, you would have a drone seat there, and you have a drone seat there. And this is where the drones would launch from. Honestly, I have no real clue how they're going to launch, but, that's going to be really cool to see once this is operational. I think it's just a fantastic looking room. Again, the atmosphere in the ship is just great, but it'll be nice to have drones and be able to do self-repairs or, send them out on a sentry or, mapping missions or something like that. It'd be really cool. So let's go ahead and go through this door and come to the next door here. Now, this room here is for repairing. So this ship, again, like I told you, is supposed to be for long-term or long-distance trips to explore and, check things out, find new systems, or just explore worlds that haven't been explored yet. With that comes the potential that you're going to have a lot of things breaking on your ship. This is where you would go to fix that. So you go ahead and bring something in here. Honestly, you're not going to fit like a size 3 shield generator or something in here, but you could potentially fit other smaller components from those pieces in here and get those fixed up. Especially like not batteries per se, but like the capacitors and stuff. Stick them in there, get them repaired, you know, do a lot of smaller work and hopefully not have to actually exchange one of those big units because you ain't doing that here. But it's nice, a nice little repair room. That's not something you see on any other ship currently, especially like no drone rooms, no repair rooms. I think only a few other ships have drone style rooms, and it's just really cool to see. So I can't wait to see other big ships get these style of things. Now, as you can see, these are labeled escape pods. You got 3 of them here and 3 of them over here. This is your second deck right above the flying area, the pilot's area. This little elevator here will take you down to that pilot's area where you can fly the ship. Now, here's where you control like the remote turret or other access points for the ship, and as well as like a little cartography area here. Pretty cool. Little mapping area. And then right here is the command area where you can control this ship or just make decisions from up here as like a captain of the vessel while you have other people down below flying the ship and doing stuff. So a pretty cool little area. A lot of people will tend to fly the ship from here, but I honestly just love flying it from the pilot's seat. Doesn't really matter. You know, to each their own. Now, moving back through this ship, I'm going to take you to the very last floor. This ship is just fantastic. I think it's very atmospheric. It's very, huge. There is so much to it, and so much of it is just not available yet, like the drone room, the repair room, stuff like that. But it is still really cool. Can't wait to see the modularity come into play, as well as just, the future of exploration. And speaking of which, let's go to the cartography deck. So if you're going to look this way, you're not going to have any ability to kind of leave here. But turn around and boom, look at that. That is really cool. I feel like I just walked on to the Normandy in Mass Effect, honestly. This is such a cool looking room. And I can't wait to see this room in full operation here, where you can map out your journey, your destination, and do fun things with exploration from this room. It is a very cool room. Now, if you go ahead and click on this station, your guy does like a little clap and gets on here. Now, it's almost kind of interesting. It's almost like they are working on getting this operational someday where you can actually do all your mapping and stuff from here, but nothing yet. Now, I'm going to go ahead and hop off, and we'll go to another area of the ship here. Like, you just got off the elevator. There's the cartography area. You walk through here. More windows. Got to love that. Now, this is an escape pod here, and then you have suit lockers right here. Interesting choice, escape pod. I like that. I don't know, maybe because you're working on the cartography area and your ship gets hit in a very bad way, you need to get out of here. You at least do have 2 escape pods here at the top and a couple suit lockers. Pretty nice. Now, if you were to go through this airlock door here, this takes you to like an observation room where, you can see people coming up on the elevator, or you can see, the Pisces landing with a nice looking view out this window. And that's pretty cool. Watching the Pisces take off is always really fun, and I think it's just a really cool part of this ship. I love being able to land smaller ships inside these ships. It's really cool. So like the Galaxy is going to be a very exciting time. I can't wait to get a look at that. And it also comes with 2 EVA doors. So you can go ahead and open these doors and walk on out. Make sure your door is shut here, honestly, if you're going to be walking out here. But you can go out here and explore your ship, take care of any damage, repair any weapons that are out here that you need to get access to, like your remote turret here on the top, which is just really awesome. I love being able to come up here and take a look. Now, this ship is huge, and this review took me a little while. I do apologize that I probably missed something, and if I did, please. I love hearing from you guys in any comments that correct me on something or, adds information to something. I really appreciate all that. You guys are truly amazing, and I think it's just fantastic to hear all this information. The game changes every day, and you learn so much about it. So, never ending learning. Let's go ahead and get back to the pilot seat. There is just a lot to this ship, and I can't wait to see how everything gets into operation. Honestly, and I'm going to go ahead and start talking about my score on this ship right now. Let's talk about that. This ship, no pilot-controlled DPS, no pilot-controlled missiles. You do have a pretty good amount of shield strength, and you have an all right amount of health points. It does carry a ton of cargo, which will be kind of limited with no manual loading in 3.24. The ship speed is really slow, given the fact that it is a huge ship. Understandable. They did change the original concept design pretty dramatically with this ship, but it has a fantastic amount of quantum fuel for when you are ready to go out and explore. So there is a lot of good bonuses to this ship, including the beautiful look of it, and there's a lot of things that, you know, are kind of like a miss here and there that you want to kind of make sure you understand before you go and, you know, buy the ship. But honestly, my score, it's going to be a pretty great one. This ship gets an 8 out of 10 for me. The ANVIL CARRAK, an 8 out of 10 because of its ability and what it can do, even in the current game, which is quite a bit of cargo. And even if you can't do manual loading, you could still definitely do automatic loading and have some fun with it and fly this thing around. And she's a huge ship. She is one of the bigger ships in the game right now, and I think that would be something cool. It's always cool landing at like a ship meet or anything like that with this ship, especially when you have the Pisces or the Ursa in there, and it's just what a cool experience. The ANVIL CARRAK gets an 8 out of 10 for me. Honestly, it could go a little bit lower. It could go a bit higher. It's a fan favorite among many in Star Citizen, as well as just a fantastic ship to own in the game. So let me know what you think of this ship down in the comments below. This video is definitely longer than the 10 minutes, more or less, ship review aspect. I think from now on, the ships of this size, I'm going to be making a new series called Review of the Titans. Large and extra large ships will have that classification. Capital size ships and ships that are right below capital size like this, I think definitely deserve that titling. Thank you guys for joining me on this one. It was a bigger one, and it's just definitely a fantastic looking ship. So let me know what you think of it down in the comments below. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one.